What if I told you there's a way to spot trend reversals early before any change of character happens? That's exactly what I'm showing you in today's video. It's a simple tool that's available on every single trading platform. It's completely free, and it's probably one you've used before, but not like this. So if you're new here, my name is Justin Bennett, Forex trader since 2007, full-time trader since 2011. And as always, all of this is my opinion only and not financial advice. So looking at the EURUSD, this is the 4-hour time frame. Now this here is a channel, okay? So this is available on every single trading platform out there. You've probably used it before, but not in the way that I'm going to show you in this video. So what I've done here is I've set up essentially bands for this upper area and lower one. Now I want to be clear. This is not about support and resistance. That's not what we're doing here. We are not, buying this down here and selling this up here. That's not what this video is about. So I'm going to double click on this and show my settings so that you guys can pause the video and copy these and use it in your own chart. So again, what I've done here is just set up a simple band here for, and you can change these too, by the way. You can change this from 0.12 to whatever it is you like. The reason I like this though is that, again, we're not using it as support and resistance, but as a channel gets larger, you can see how these bands actually widen, okay? So it's kind of nice in that regard that if you're dealing with a larger trend, that those bands are going to widen to give you a wider area to observe, okay? And that's going to matter as you'll see in this video. So what I want you to think about here is that when you get a trend in the market, if you consider and imagine a midpoint here within this trend, what the market tends to do is it essentially distributes, okay, along this midpoint, okay? So you get distribution to the upside, you get distribution to the downside, or, sell side and buy side, right? And so this is what a market tends to do within a trend. So I like to call this a distribution channel. Now, some of you may be looking at this and thinking that this is a regression channel, and it is not, because a regression channel cannot be drawn across subjective highs and lows. If you're drawing a channel based on highs and lows, it is not a regression channel. A regression channel has to be based on statistics based on the X and Y axis. Okay, so with that in mind, let's talk about something here quickly before we get into some examples, and I'll show you how you can use this tool to your advantage. And this is all about trading SMC, guys. Again, we're not looking at this as support and resistance. This is about aiding you in trading smart money concepts when it comes to change of characters, okay? So the evolution of a trader typically looks like this. A trader comes into the market and they learn about support and resistance, and they look at a trend like this, where you get this high, you get the market breaking that high, and this is called a breakout, and then you get it coming back here to this high. This should serve as support, and then you get the new high, right? They look at it like this, right? Very, very clean. Okay, now rarely does a market do this. Okay, it's very, very rare that you get a market putting in these perfect highs and then respecting that exactly and giving you that low. Instead, what a market tends to do, okay, is it looks like this. You get the move up, you get the market pulling back, forming internal liquidity, okay, engineering liquidity below the low, and then you get it taking out that liquidity, right? Coming back up here to the highs and then breaking out, something like this, right? So this is what you tend to see from a market. It's not as clean as the example on the left. So instead of looking at a market like this here, right, where you just get these perfect highs and these perfect lows, it makes more sense to look at a market like this, where you essentially have a midpoint and you have the market giving you this equal distribution on either side. Again, markets love symmetry, okay? So the symmetry I'm referring to here is you get this parallel channel like this that develops, and you get the market distributing on either side of this. Okay, so with that in mind, this is going to completely kind of shift the way that you look at trends, and it's also going to help you tremendously with this topic today. Okay, so here we have a downtrend from the euro. Now, technically speaking, okay, this up here, really, if you're going to call an external high here on this chart within this trend, this is going to be it, because this right here was internal liquidity building above this high. So in terms of a true change of character on the 1 hour, it really didn't happen until all the way back here, okay, all the way until this point. Now, if you look here though at this channel, now again, this is a bit subjective. I will be completely honest. It is subjective in terms of how you draw it. However, this is also why I have these set up as bands. Okay, I don't have them set up as exact levels like this, and I'm not looking at this as support and resistance. I'm looking at this as an area up here, okay, an area down here, same thing here. Okay, so these are areas in the market. Now, the moment that we get acceptance above or below this, in this case, because it's a downtrend, I'm looking for acceptance above, okay? And in this case, you can see where we do have acceptance right over here. Now, what is acceptance? Acceptance is multiple candles closing above. I'm not talking about 2 or even 3. I want to see a lot of candles. Okay, there's really no definition that I put behind it, but it's basically acceptance above, something very clear and obvious. If the market had done this where it closed, 1 or 2 candles above here, that to me is not going to be enough. I want to see the market trading above the top of this channel to the point where it is clear and obvious. So the moment that I have that, okay, now I want to be clear too, before we move on, I want to be clear that this does not supersede what we're talking about with SMC, okay? So if you're marking out this high right back here as an external high and one that the market has to take out, right, to turn bullish, then this right here is going to supersede anything we're talking about today. Okay, you still have to get this in terms of market structure in order to call it a true change of character and then look for buys, down here in this area, okay? But the point here is that this right here, notice how this happened before the change of character. So the whole point here is that even if you're not going to buy this, if you're shorting in this trend and you see the market do this and give you acceptance above the top of this distribution channel, again, we're just looking for a change in behavior, okay? A change in something that has existed previously, okay? The moment that you see this, even though this isn't necessarily a buy, okay, because you don't want to buy high like this right here would be an indication that you may not want to be selling anymore, right? If you were selling back here based on this downtrend, the moment that you get this right here, you might want to take a pause and say, wait a second, we are having a change in the behavior of what has existed previously. So that's the whole point here. This is not about identifying, a breakout and trying to buy that breakout. That's not what we're doing. Okay, so right here we had the change of character. Again, you did have the acceptance though above the upper band of this distribution channel here before the change of character happened, okay? Basically an entire day before, okay? And this would have aided you well because if you were looking at this back here, okay, and you have this high back here, you have the breakup structure down here, you could have been looking to short up here. But if you had this plotted, okay, and you knew that we were getting acceptance above this, then that would have been your cue to start pausing, looking for shorts, and that would have been the right move, okay? Because you would have gotten stopped out right here on this move, okay? So let's move over here and look at what we have here now, okay? So moving forward, you can see where perfect distribution channel from the market. And again, this is what I mean when I say markets love symmetry. You'll see this over and over and over again, where a market comes back here into the lows, you get this equal distribution, okay, midpoint through here, and you get the market distributing on either side of this midpoint, okay? Distributing down here toward the lows, distributing up here toward the highs. So moving forward, let's see what we have here from the euro. So right here, we get a break below this. Notice how this isn't just a 1 or 2 candle thing. This is multiple candles, basically an entire day trading below here, okay? In fact, over a day, because this is a 4-hour time frame. So once we get this, again, if you were buying back here, this right here is your cue to pause. Yes, we did get a little bit of a move up. However, notice what happened here. We got the reversal. And then this was the start of that change of character and a new trend. So once again, the theme here is that we are looking for a change in behavior, a change in something that has existed previously. What existed previously for the euro was the market making higher highs and higher lows. Now, this right here is that change. It's no longer respecting this distribution that it was in. We had the breakdown, we had the move up here, then we got a sharp reversal. Now, what you'll notice too is I've made videos on OT before as well, and what you'll notice is that following this, if you look up here, okay, and this is just one of those phenomenons of the market where the market loves to come back to this area. You can see OTE right here. That's the 62% up here toward the 79%. You can see the market came right here into this pocket, this dark green area. So again, from the low down here to the high, that's how we're measuring. You can see OTE right there before the reversal. Now, again, I just want to say this again because this is not about using this alone for longs and shorts, how to trade the market. This is just giving us that early warning sign. Now, I do want to point out this period right through here, you may be thinking, why isn't there a distribution channel drawn here? And the reason for that is that, yes, you could have had something like this. However, because this is a downtrend, okay, technically, you'd want to be looking for a break above this anyway, right? So even this right here, this would not have been on my radar simply because we broke below the lower band of this in a downtrend. So this right here was a bit of an anomaly, but again, I would not have been looking to short this because I would not want to be looking to short low like this. Okay, so moving forward over here, let's see what we get from the euro moving forward. So you can see right here, we did have the move lower, then we started into a new uptrend. Now, once we had this uptrend, we could plot our distribution channel again, knowing that, once again, midpoint through here, the market loves to distribute on either side of that, okay? So with that in mind, what do you see right here? We have the market once again, giving us a change in behavior, right? A change in what has existed before. And following that, you can see where we do get the market starting to reverse. So right here from this point, okay, so right here from this point, we did get the reversal. Now in this case, what you'll see here, and if I'm drawing my fibs to a wick like this, I want to point out, a wick like this, I really wouldn't pay too much attention to. I would draw it from this high up here. But even then, if I do that, right, we didn't quite come into OTE. Now, you can make the case that, okay, well, from this high up here, we came perfectly into OTE. And that could be the case there if you were to use this high. But if you're using this high up here, right, as your external high to low, then we didn't quite come into OTE. However, again, we still had the market giving us that change in what has existed before. Okay, this change right here. And that was our signal that, again, if you were buying back here within this uptrend, this right here was your signal to take a pause and say, wait a second, now we are, showing something different than what has existed before. And look, I've been doing this, guys, using this kind of a tool for years, right? For really a decade. And I can tell you that this happens more often than not. And that alone is enough to have in my arsenal. It's enough for you to probably have it in your arsenal as well, because anything that happens more often than not, right? That's an edge in the market that at least belongs in your toolbox. So once again, looking at this here, okay, now this is a little bit different. Price got a little crazy through here, and this has been the case now over the past year for the euro. But you can see, once again, we have the highs up here. We have all these highs here across the top of this. So really nice distribution channel. Okay, now this right here was acceptance above it. Notice how, again, this is a 4-hour time frame. We had multiple candles closing above here. It wasn't just about 1 or 2 candles closing above here, and certainly not a wick. It was multiple candles closing above here. So a change in what we had before. Now, in this case, though, we had the market actually pulling all the way back here within the channel. Now, this is why I'm not saying that this is supporting resistance. Okay, this is not about treating this as resistance up here and a breakout up here and then buying against this. Okay, all we're doing here is we're looking at this here and we're showing acceptance above this. We're showing acceptance above here and that change in behavior for what has existed now, for weeks. Okay, that is all this is about. Now, once again, though, talking about OTE, looking here from the low up here to the high, notice where the market reversed. Right here in OTE. So this was your point, right? As soon as we got the pullback down here, this was your point that, okay, we might be starting an uptrend now, especially when we got the breakout above these highs through here. Now, again, though, if you were shorting during this downtrend, this would have saved you. Okay, and that's what this is all about. Because if you were shorting back here based on this downtrend, the moment that you see this right here, okay, this was your cue to pause for a moment and ask yourself, are we about to get a change? Because notice once again that this is an internal high. Okay, so this is an internal high back here, and this is your external high. Now, why are these internal and external? This video is not about that, but simply put, you can see that right back here, this was our low. Okay, so this was our breakup structure to the downside. If you just draw out a box here, okay, and we just label this as the low to the high, right? Everything inside of here is internal. So this right here was an internal low. This was an internal high. But my point here is that even off of this internal high, okay, so this high right here, we did not break above it over here. We didn't break above it until all the way over here. Okay, literally weeks after we got the acceptance above the top of that distribution channel. So again, you can see how this right here was your early warning sign that this trend was about to reverse. Okay, so this is how you spot trend reversals early, right? And again, you can start using this on, I would suggest no lower than the 1 hour time frame. I mean, I found a lot of success on the 1 hour and 4 hour charts. If you start going down to a 15-minute, 30-minute, things like that, then you're going to get a lot of noise, okay? But again, you can see, once again here, we did get that reversal, and the market came right back there into OTE, okay? So perfect little retest there of OTE, following the acceptance above the top of that distribution channel, okay? And then from here, as you might guess, we went into an uptrend. So looking here, we have, highs and lows off of this distribution channel. So once again, this is approaching now current price action in the market, okay? So I'm going to show you guys that this is not just a fluke, okay? This isn't just about, because here's the thing, when we make videos like this, when people on YouTube make videos like this, one of the top things that goes through people's heads is, okay, well, you planned this video, you plotted this out all perfectly and everything else. So of course it's going to look nice in a video where you're talking about this in hindsight, okay? And that is true. Yes, we do plan out these videos as anyone should, but this right here is the current price action for the euro. Now, what you're going to see is same exact thing, okay? And look, I'll be straight up, this could backfire, right? We have the market down here carving out these lows, right? Highs up here. So in this case, what we have here is, once again, the market giving us a change in behavior. Something that has existed previously has now changed, okay? And so even though this is not a cue to start looking for shorts, again, I want to be very clear here. This is not about shorting a breakdown, okay? That is stuff that, you get taught when you first enter the markets. This is just about looking for acceptance below something that has existed previously. In this case, it's our distribution channel low. So with this in mind, right, our low is back here. Now there's two ways to look at this. If you look here at this high, okay, on the 4-hour time frame, technically you could call this up here a breakup structure because we did have a 1 pip close above here. Okay, now whether that's too close, to call for you or not, I'll leave that up to you. But even if you just call this down here an internal low, okay, knowing that this up here was, possibly too close to call, even if this is an internal low, the euro wouldn't shift internally, the internal structure here until we got to close below this low down here. So once again, knowing this right here is not enough to get bearish on a market, but it is enough to say, well, if I was buying back here, okay, if I was buying this trend, which, yeah, you could have been, absolutely. There were some nice buying opportunities through here, but if you were doing that previously, then this right here is enough to kind of pause. It's not enough to say, let's get bearish and short against this or anything like that. But it is enough to say, if I was longing back here, maybe I want to take a pause and just see what happens. Okay, and that could potentially keep you out of a loss. But in terms of the actual structure though, when we talk about, breakup structure, internal, external, all of that, this right here is the low to watch. Okay, so once again though, we're nowhere close to this. And you can see how we are getting that kind of early indication that this could possibly be a change in the behavior, change in something that we've seen here for weeks now, over a month in fact. Okay, so if we go back here, and I'm just gonna mark out all of these change in behaviors as we are calling them here on this chart. So starting all the way back here, right, we had this part right here. So this was our acceptance above this, and we're going to turn this to green here. Okay, so this is our change in behavior, the acceptance above the top of that channel. So let's move over here now, and I'm just going to make all of these green here to keep it the same. So this right here was also acceptance below the bottom of that channel. This right here, again, just keep in mind that this part right here was actually a break below the bottom of a distribution channel, but that would not have been on my radar just because it would have been, below the bottom of a descending channel like that. Okay, so here over here, you can see same exact thing, right? This was the acceptance below here. Okay, so right here on this portion. And then once again, we had over here, the market went from a downtrend to an uptrend. So spotting that, potential reversal early through here. And now with the current price action, again, we don't know what's going to happen here. Okay, so this is, obviously early, but with the current price action, you can see where we are getting something very similar to what we've seen here previously. So looking at the 8-hour time frame, right? In terms of spotting reversals early, now you're not looking for the exact highs and lows here, but the point is that all of these boxes that you see occurred before the change of character. They all occurred before the change of character occurred when the euro started to reverse. Okay, so you can see how this can be incredibly, incredibly helpful. Back here, we had something looking pretty bullish. We went into an uptrend. Over here, we had the break below the bottom of that distribution channel. We had a very sharp pullback. Over here, we went into an uptrend, and we then had acceptance below the bottom of this distribution channel, went into a downtrend. Over here, same thing. We had acceptance above. We went into an uptrend. And then obviously looking over here at the current price action, we have the euro possibly giving us another signal, another hint here. Okay, but we'll have to wait and see. But really, this is how you can use channels like this. Again, I'll put my settings up here so you can copy them. I haven't seen anybody else use it in this sense, but when you're trading SMC, this can really give you a huge edge in the market, not necessarily to get full on bullish or bearish on a market and start looking for trades, but more to the point that if you had been buying within a trend, then something like this could give you enough information to pause, and the same thing in the opposite scenario. I hope this video has helped. If it has, be sure to subscribe to the channel, keep it locked in here, and also check out this video right here where I show my exact SMC entry confirmation. You're going to find it super helpful if you're trading smart money concepts. As always, until next time, trade well out there.